Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have with me Prithvi Chauhan and this entire video we are going to talk about Roblox. So Prithvi welcome to my channel. It's a pleasure to have you on my channel and you've actually created a proper document explaining what Roblox is. So before we get started with Roblox, let's have a small introduction about yourself. What do you do? What has been your experience in game development or so? And over to you, Prithvi.
So I'm gonna just take a little back. So for me, my journey in tech started like around 7 to 8 years back with those silly phishing attacks and all with my friends, everything asking your friends to log in on phishing pages, hacking Wi-Fi and all. That was my introduction to tech. Then fast forward in 2020, during COVID, I was just bored and I really like to read. So I'm a big sucker for sci-fi novels and all. I was reading William Gibson's classic Necromancer. So in process of that, I realized, okay, these sci-fi books and worlds, that movies that we have seen, they are going to be a thing. And then I stumbled upon the term called metaverse. So from then, since 2020, I've been writing about it, talking to people that involve founders, VCs, like everybody whom I could get a hand on, get a conversation with. I've been talking to them since past 4 years, and last year I worked with the India's first social metaverse startup called Flam. Then, as of now, I'm a college student. As of now, I'm working with companies to launch on Roblox, how they can be a part of the metaverse. And at this point, Roblox is the only company other than Fortnite that is helping brands to launch on the 3D world.
Fantastic. So, for someone who has no idea about Roblox, what is Roblox?
Uh, in a nutshell, I would say in a line, it's a 3D user-generated content place, 3D UGC place. Well, if you try to expand it, then okay, here it goes. We have seen people like us when we want to communicate with friends, our go-to platforms have been Insta, Facebook, WhatsApp, or whatever it is. So what got me started with Roblox, I'll probably gonna start with that. So it's like 6 to 7 months back, I was with my niece and she was on Roblox, and I saw her talking to her friends, talking about the math homework or something. They were talking on Roblox. And then at that moment, I realized, okay, what Facebook and Instagram is to me, Roblox is to these kids. It's not just a game. For them, it's a whole different place. It's a social media, it's a gaming place, it's everything to them at this place. So there was a big, reveal for me with this platform is going to be something. And later on, layer after layer, I tried to understand the platform. Then I realized, it's not just a game. There are around 40 million games inside Roblox, and most of them are being built by kids who are hardly 17 or 18. So all those things, they have brought me to the conclusion. It's like Roblox is the stepping stone to the 3D internet. It has, I won't call all the 40 million games as games, I would call them as experiences, like the Roblox people like to call it. So these 40 million experiences are usually visited by kids and all, but at this point, the platform is expanding to 17 plus users and elderly people.
And talking about the demography, have you seen this platform working in a specific demography, or is it not restricted by geography at all?
I'd say it is actually restricted by geography. So at this point, Roblox has around 210 million monthly users and around 70 to 74 million daily active users. I'd say over 70 to 80% of them are from North America and the European region. So in India, Roblox is a very new thing. I've seen kids playing it, but it has been very rare. So most of their users are from the North America and the European region.
All right. And when it comes to these experiences, can you talk about what kind of experiences can one build? And adding to this point, you mentioned that kids are starting to build on Roblox. So is it that easy? Can anyone just boot up Roblox and in a matter of minutes or a few hours, they can create their own experiences? How is that journey like?
So okay, it's not that easy actually. So during my process, I took 4 months to write my Roblox case study. So in that process, I interviewed over 10 to 20 Roblox developers, and all of them were developing games on Roblox since they were kids. One of them started back in 20, I'd say 28 or 9, 2008 or 9. So back then he was like 10 or 11. So I'd give you a small gist of his journey. I was talking to him. He told me, like, he was just little curious about games and all. And he saw ad on television, create your own games. So he was very provoked by it. Okay, I can build my own game. So okay, he logged on to roblox.com and figured there's this thing ID he has to download and everything. So it's not that easy where you have to just, you have an AI, you tell, okay, build a wall for me with fancy wallpapers on it. It's not that easy. But most of the development process is just drag and drop. I'd say it's like, if you are a little bit good with computers and all, you know how to transfer file. If just consider a scenario of a 10-year-old kid and he's good with like, downloading stuff from internet and like, just basics of computers. If he is good with that, then he'll be able to create the basic structures of game and everything. It's like, you can just drag a tree or a wall and even the game mechanics. It's like, if your character jumps on this stone, he will die. All those mechanics are just drag and drop. But when you want to advance, it's like, if your character is jumping, you want to give it 2 points. So for that purpose, there's a specific language called Lua you have to use. So when you're expanding to a towards more technical side, then I would say it gets a little tough for kids. But if they want to create basic experiences, the Roblox Studio, the ID, it's pretty easy. I have used that. I had no experience in 3D development, and I was like, it was very easy for me. It took me an hour or two to create a pirate world something. And to the people whom I interviewed, it was back in 2011 or 12 when these kids started developing. To them also, they found it pretty easy.
What has been one of the most mind-blowing experiences so far that you've experienced in Roblox?
For me, it's like there's this game called Altitude. So there, it's a multiplayer game where you and the other player, you have to randomly choose a player with you, and you'll throw a rope towards him. You both will be tied to a rope, and then you're supposed to climb a mountain. And if the other player falls, if there is no coordination between you and the other player, then you will also fall from the mountain. So, it's a basic obstacle game, but I just found it very fascinating. So actually, when I started the game, started learning about it, that was the first one that I played, and it instantly hooked me. So for me, it was that. But other than that, generally, you are asking about experiences. I'll just give you a gist of it, how popular and how huge these experiences are. So, which is the most popular video on YouTube?
Uh,
Even I Gangnam Style maybe, or no, not Gangnam Style, long back. Despacito song, I'd say, like around 10 billion views and all. So I'd say the maximum threshold a YouTube video has reached as of now, it's a maximum, okay, 10 to 15 billion. The most played game on Roblox, it's an RPG game called Brookhaven. It has 40 billion visits. At this point, I'd say it has reached 41 maybe, but last time I checked, it had 40 billion visits. And the second most visited game was Adopt Me, and it has around 35 to 36 billion visits. And it just goes on. There are so many experiences on Roblox that have over a billion visits. That's a huge deal. Just think about the number. There are 70 million people who go on that platform daily. And these games are so popular that they have 40 to 35 billion visits. It's just staggering.
so basically, like there's a lot of replayability value in these games, right? Even though they are
Yeah.
simple, easy to make, and they are people tend to play them again and again, right?
Yeah, when I was having a conversation with one of the developer, he was 16 and he was from Switzerland. His name was Leon. So I asked him, he built a game that has around 15 to 20 million visits at this point. And I asked him, how do you make sure that you get more number of visitors every day? Just like most of the Roblox young developers, they try to make their game endless. It's like it keep on repeating. So there's no, it's not like a journey where you have to go from destination A to destination B. It's not like that. It's like it'll keep on going on. So that's what helped these platforms to increase their the retention rate. Like take example of Brookhaven itself. It's RPG game. You're not supposed to perform any task. You're just hanging out, and most of the population, the user base is are kids. These kids, they just hang out on platform. They just randomly do activities, but there's no specific task that they're supposed to do. So that has been a big game changer for them since there are no specific tasks, so the game is never ending.
Additionally, I also had a question about the monetization aspect. Although these billions and billions of views or playthroughs sound amazing, but on the monetization side, I believe Roblox is more of a free platform. So how does the platform monetize, and how does a game developer who wants to get onto Roblox look at it from a monetization perspective?
Uh, If you look at Roblox from the user perspective, it's pure gold. You never see a pop-up ad or a company like throwing their advertisements and all. But from a developer perspective, it gets a little tricky. So I heard David Baszucki, the founder of Roblox, I heard him saying in a podcast that he wants to go very gentle on monetization. They don't want to jeopardize the user experience in the horde of making money. So the usual way developers make money is well, the whole thing is divided. I'll start by that. The whole developer section is divided into two perspectives, two aspects. One are the game developers, and the other are the asset developers. So how do these game developer make money? Is by consider I have a very popular game where around 10,000 people come every day. So some of the asset creators will reach out to me and they will place their assets on my game. So on that basis, once somebody buys their asset on my game, I will get a cut of it, and the asset creator will get a cut of it, and Roblox will get a cut of it. So that's how they make money. And I won't say it's very easy. Creating game is very easy, but the monetization aspect, I'd say you have to think about it and see how other games of the same genre are making money. It's a bit tricky, but yeah, you got to understand.
Also, the in-game currency for Roblox is Robux, right?
Robux.
Is there a way for the developers to monetize through Robux, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
it is very rare. There's one experience called Bloxburg. So Bloxburg is like the paid version of Brookhaven, an RPG game. I think they charge around 25 to 50 Robux to try their experience. So, but such kind of experiences are very rare since there's an upfront fees and most of the people don't want to pay for the games. So, as of now, I have stumbled upon hardly 2 to 3 games that charge users to play. Otherwise, all of them are free and they rely on asset purchases on their platform. So all of this was the scenario till 2021. Now Roblox has come up with interesting ways to monetize. So instead of having normal ads where you just see a hoarding of a company or just ad pops up when people are advertising, they have this thing called immersive ad. So how do they do it? It's like recently Walmart created their immersive ad on the platform. So it's like you're visiting on my game. So in the whole experience, there'd be a door with a huge logo of Walmart above. And if if you find it attractive, you'll go inside that door and it will lead to another experience. And there, Walmart or any company, do you know H&M? It's a retail brand. So yeah, I'll give you an example of H&M. I would say their immersive ad experience is the most successful one on Roblox as of now. So what they did was, it's like they gave kids tasks. It's like you collect points and you can buy assets for your avatars. So that's how these brands are creating a kind of a connection. They're forming a community of these young kids via these activities. So this is a very special way of monetizing on Roblox. Instead of just showing it, you are actually creating a community of users with activity oriented.
Also, from a perspective of Roblox, in terms of its core design, what do you think done extremely right in terms of psychological hooks to actually create this 70 odd million user base that they have right now? 70 odd million daily active users, right? You mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say I read it somewhere on their blog. So in the early days, people were making fun of them that these are very bloxy kind of graphic. It's Lego, it's Lego. So once their founder said it's to us, the graphics and the aesthetic do not matter. For us, the experience that we're trying to deliver. They're trying to deliver a fun moment to the users. That's what matters to them. So I think that has been the key hook. They have emphasized less on the how things look, but emphasized more on how they can make the thing fun, the experience fun for the user. So I'll tell you how they match users. So it's a very interesting story. It's like the consumers, they divide it into four halves, how they try to make things for more fun. So it's like first they divide the users according to their age and their liked experiences. So think of me, I'm I'm 22-year-old. I like to play a obstacle game where I'm tied with my teammate and trying to climb a mountain. They would record that. Okay. So next time when I log into an experience, and there are millions of servers, so the other player who will jump into this game, they would have done the similar kind of activities like I do in other games. It's like hooking the users who do similar kind of activities in other game to the same. It's like who have done previously similar activities. And other than that, it's like it's like I like my avatar to jump from one place to another. So in the real time, the experience would create similar kind of situations for me. So exactly delivering what I want. That has worked great for them.
Any advice for someone who wants to start making games in Roblox?
So check out the Roblox official documentation. It was pretty easy for me to get a grasp of, and I told you I haven't done 3D programming or or anything, but I found it pretty easy. Just go onto their website and click on it. There are video tutorials, there are text documents, there's everything there. You can get started from there. And other than that, if you want to get really serious about it, then there are a lot of Discord servers, and there are kids 14, 15-year old, and they're just going crazy about it. They're just chatting endlessly. They're sharing their videos of building everything. So, yeah. For starting point, I would say go to Roblox's official site. Post that. You'll just once you start, you'll find no ways.
The platform actually has been around since 2006, right? 2006. We are in 2023,
Yeah.
right? And still it's going
Yeah.
strong. So, what do you think is the future of Roblox? Do you think it still has potential to change a lot of things and be like a pioneer in the segment of gaming?
Yeah. So as of now, as I told you, most of these daily active users are kids. But recently, I think last year they started a new segment called 17 plus. Uh, Something that is right for me to say, to do in a game, may be completely wrong for a 10-year-old or a 11-year-old to do. If I am chatting with my friends in a game, I'm 22-year-old, maybe we can abuse each other a little bit, but a 10-year-old cannot do that. So their user base is aging. To serve this specific user base, to retain these users who are aging, who are growing, they created these new categories called 17 plus games and all. So in these games, you're completely free. You can chill with your friends and you can perform. It's there's this experience where you can gather with your friends and drink beer and all, and people are literally chatting, they're cursing each other. So that's how they're trying to retain the elderly audience, the aging audience of the platform. So they do have a lot of potential. And this year in September, they do a yearly event called RDC. So in RDC, the founder, David Bazuki, he said they are even launching immersive calls and dating experiences. So at this point, they're expanding. They're expanding in the user base of as of now, they're trying to capture the 17 plus. Later on, they're trying to capture 22 to 23 plus audience by dating experiences and immersive calling. So yeah, it's gonna expand with time and it's gonna do great.
That's a very interesting perspective of this transitioning audience from 10 to 12-year olds becoming 17 to 18-year olds. That's a very visionary approach to take care of this. But one overarching question on this part is since Roblox is dealing with such a sensitive audience that is mature, that is growing up on and there's also this very popular act which is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, can you
Copa.
talk a little bit about the COPA guidelines that Roblox follows, and has there been any backlashes or any sort of negative parts that Roblox has faced and dealt with?
They have actually, they have faced, I'd say, a hefty amount of backlashes. See, it's like when you have 70 million users, they're going to be bad apples. You cannot fix everything. There are going to be people who are going to try to exploit the kids or the platforms. And there have been certain cases, they have been reported by the police and the media and everything. But to be honest, I'd say when I interviewed a lot of developers for my case study, so in the end, I asked them for feedback. It's I got the chance to speak with the VP of Roblox. I had the call with him. So I thought, okay, let's take feedback from these developers and I'll give it to the VP. So one thing was very common among all the feedbacks that I got from developers. They were like, Roblox should go a little easy on the way they monitor, they block accounts of the users, the way they moderate. It's like consider a scenario where you as a 17 plus user, you are in an experience that is only meant for kids and all. So just one thing I forgot to tell you, to browse the 17 plus users, you have to literally show your official ID. Like I showed my PAN card and I had to talk in a video. It was a proper KYC. So okay, once you do that, the platform knows you're a 17 plus user. And just think of a scenario where I am in an experience which is kids friendly, like 10-year-old or 12-year-old kids are there. And by mistake, I type up even a basic word like shit. That's it. Within 10 to 15 minutes, my account is gonna get blocked. So since they know they have a very sensitive audience, they are very, very strict on moderation. And that has been a feature. Sometimes kids get blocked for no, just for silly reason. Yeah, there are bad apples, but they have been very strict on moderation.
That's actually quite reassuring to know that Roblox is taking step in the right direction to preserve and protect their audience, because very quickly this can actually go southways, right?
Yeah.
Especially now that the world is much more accessible than ever. I mean, things were way different back in 2006, but we are in 2023, so that's great to know. And when it comes to the entire idea of Roblox, right? What do you think must have been going on in the minds of the developers when they were trying to make this? Do you think, and another continuation on this part is, how has Roblox as a platform evolved back in 2006 and versus today? Have there been any pivots in the entire idea, or have they kind of preserved the entire core, or made any changes to their thesis on the way?
Okay. So, sir, Roblox was initially started in 2004, and I'd say the story goes way back. In 1989 or 1990, the founder, David Baszucki, he created a physics simulator. It was a kind of edtech experience back then. So one thing he and his co-founder realized that people were less bothered about what they can learn from the platform, and they were having more fun with messing around with the 3D things. So like they can create a seesaw or something. So this was back in early 90s. So from there on, the idea of 3D content creation evolved in David's mind. So I heard him saying in a podcast, for them since the beginning, the idea has remained same: build games, kids building games for other kids. That has been the idea ever since the beginning. So that has been consistent since the past 20 years since their inception. But the way they have evolved, it's they're sticking to their destination, but the approach they have taken that has been quite interesting. So a lot of developers who have been in the platform developing for 10 years, they told me it's like back in 2013, they introduced a program called Dev Exchange, where if somebody bought a asset on my experience and I got a cut of it, so I will give those those Robux back to the Roblox, and they will credit money back into my account. So this feature was introduced in 2013. So in the same way, they introduced more and more developer-friendly and consumer-friendly aspects throughout the years. So it started in early 2010s, and as of now, you see every year they introduce a couple of great features. Just last year they introduced a Roblox assistant. It's like Chat GPT, where you can just type, okay, build a wall for my Roblox game, and that has anime graphics and all. It'll write the script and it'll build for you. So in the same way, the vision has been same, but the approach they have taken is quite innovative.
Prithviraj, I think this was a great conversation about Roblox. Thanks a lot. I got to learn so much about Roblox. Any parting thoughts, anything that you think might have been left out to talk about from your side? Over to you.
So there are two things. It's one of the very important aspect that I learned from developers was that there's this kid, he was 18, and he told that I'm a mini entrepreneur. So I asked him, what is it? So I mentioned it in my case study also. So he told me it's I'm in first year of college. Uh, I've been making money from past 3 to 4 years, and when I started on Roblox, I knew nothing. So I asked him what are you really talking about? So he said, when I started developing on Roblox, I knew nothing. The platform introduced me to little bit of the technical aspects via Roblox Studio, and then the Lua programming language helped me to become a bit of a coder and everything. So in and later on, this was the technical side. After that, when we started learning to monetize his experience. For that aspect, he had to deal with other asset creators and everybody. So in that process, he learned everything. He learned the technical aspect, he learned the business aspect, how to communicate, he learned the selling aspect, the salesperson, how to sell things properly on his experience. So it's like I have a company of my own. It's a game on Roblox, and I consider myself a mini entrepreneur. So it's like this is the vision. This is the vision for games and social platforms to manufacture such many entrepreneurs who are just independent and how their curiosity and the platforms ease led them to build what they wanted.
Wow, that's a very, very interesting story indeed. And guys, if you want to check out Prithviraj's case study on Roblox, link is in the description. Do follow him on Twitter as well and all the other platforms. So, Prithviraj, where all are you accessible?
It's just LinkedIn and Twitter.
LinkedIn and Twitter. Links are in the description. Prithviraj, thank you very much for coming onto my channel and talking about Roblox. This was a fantastic conversation. And guys, go ahead, try Roblox at your convenience and check it out. It's a great experience. I'm personally going through it myself as well. And on my gameplay channel, you'll find me playing some Roblox games now. So thanks a lot, Prithviraj. And if you guys like this video, then hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss my next videos. That's it for this video. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, goodbye.